Sam, first week back of pre-season, it's almost over. How do you reflect on the first few days' work?
Yeah, it's been really tough. To be fair, the players have worked really hard. Mostly today, it's been their toughest day. They've had a bit of a track day today, which has been led by myself and the manager, and then the lads have been doing some fitness yoga as well and doing some upper body circuits, which is mostly a little bit of a change from what they've maybe had from previous pre-seasons. But ultimately they've grasped the challenges that we gave them this week, and I think we've built some really good fitness blocks for the first week.
Talk us what sort of work you put into them over the first few days.
Yeah, so obviously the first week we did some on-field testing, and that was to get a baseline measure of their endurance and looking at what speeds we can get them through. Obviously we can look at that from a training perspective and how that's relatable to a match. From there, obviously Tuesday it was a bit more of an endurance day. From there it was quite a tough day for them, but they managed it pretty well. We started getting balls out from then on, and just inducing some light ball striking. Obviously players throughout the off season go through little ball striking. So ultimately trying to get them reintroduced to the movements that they'll be performing quite on a regular basis, because they can lead to overuse injuries if they're not built up correctly. And then the Wednesday has been quite a lighter day in general for them, and then Thursday we picked it back up again. But it's been a mixture of microdosing speeds, thresholds, and letting players get used to the speed. Obviously the pitches are harder compared to when we finished the season, so we've got to get players used to hitting the floor and getting ready to move. But ultimately it's been a really good week so far.
Had some pretty high temperatures to deal with as well.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things over the last 5 days has been the hydration. Obviously, when it's 25 degrees for us general population people, it's quite hot in general. But imagine trying to run 5k one morning and try and run another 5k in the afternoon. So ultimately, the hydration aspects and nutrition that the girls been putting on the food for the players as well has been really good. Obviously, it's been a lot of organisation to understand the timings as to when to train, making sure it's not peak hours for sunshine. But ultimately, lads have been really top professionals. They're taking all the liquids on board. They're doing the right things away from the training ground, which is even more important.
You'd given them all a programme to work on while they were away. What did you make of the condition that they came back in as a group?
Yeah, they did really well. Most of them did all the work as well, to be fair. They're starting to show as well where the individual perspective of how they've improved their speed. Some have improved their endurance. Some players have put on some muscle mass because we wanted to get a little bit bigger and stronger based on their position. So ultimately they've worked really well. Obviously it's been a bit of a longer off season compared to normal because they've had 8 weeks. So really they've had about 6 weeks to really nail down their S&C programme. And they've done really well as a group overall. Obviously you get a few people that have come in maybe out a little bit average, but that's where most of the time the top professionals now, it's very rare they can get away with not doing anything during the off season.
What's the plan then for week 2? And obviously you've got a game at the end of it. How does that change things?
Yeah, so obviously it's a little bit more leaning to there's going to be a little bit more contact, a little more collision into the work. Mostly the first week has been a bit non-contact. There's been a little few shoulder battles in terms of contact, whereas this week we're going to crank it up a little bit more with 1v1 situations, 2v2 situations. Obviously there's still going to be a lot of aerobic based running in there. The shorter of the minutes in terms of the drills that we prescribe to the coaches, and ultimately it's then building up in towards the game. And obviously towards that aspect is looking at what minutes players require based on either previous injury history or how they're flying through the pre-season.
We get it every year, but this time of the year, and particularly obviously for you, but for the squad as a whole. So the value of the work at this time of year for the rest of the 9 months to follow, that's massive. Yeah,
it has massive implications if you do it wrong. Ultimately, throughout the season, you want player availability to be high as possibly can, whether it's in training and for match availability. Obviously, for us now is to make sure we get a really good aerobic base, and then gradually from there is build the intensity in terms of our running. And that's something that towards the back end of the pre-season, we'll be looking to try and aim for. Ultimately, for the whole of the season, players need to be on a general good base of fitness because obviously we'll have games coming Saturday, Tuesday. So the fitness element of that and the recovery part of that and the nutrition and the hydration that we just spoke about before is even more important throughout the season.
We had a couple of disrupted years, obviously with COVID and then the fixture calendar being sort of compressed and all that. What are the challenges that's presented you for this season? Does it feel like you're getting back on more of a normal
yeah,
state
it feels a bit more probably like the chains are off sort of thing. I think the players even are enjoying it now. Obviously before you only had to train with a certain group which mostly isolated you from other players. Obviously if you're a centre back and you're you're not working with other centre-backs, that can cause issues in itself, and having the engagement and the interaction with other people. And I think from a physical perspective now, you can actually engage players a lot more in the same view whilst they're doing the same drills, rather than looking from each individual drill, which has mostly allowed the coaches and ourselves to have a bit more holistic approach to how the players need to be trained for the coming season.
You kind of touched on it there, but as much as the work on the grass in terms of fitness, the camaraderie aspect of it's important at this time of year as well, building that.
Yeah, massively. Like when you've got the players working in the gym, also they're working in the gym, but also getting to know each other as well. And ultimately, you get to know each other who needs a bit more of a push at the backside. And sometimes it doesn't have to be me. Sometimes it's some of the senior players, and some of the senior players have really led up this week and found a voice and pushing through the younger players, or whether it's been new signings, and really actually introduce them to the rest of the facility and the rest of the staff. And I think from there is having a bit more accountability towards our actions.
Your first pre-season at the club, you enjoying it so far?
Yeah, really good. It's tough as it always is, because most of the first 6 weeks is pretty much my baby sort of thing. But ultimately, it's been a really good experience. Really enjoying it with the players. Couldn't have asked any more for the energy levels and the effort levels. So hopefully we can just keep maintaining that through.